welcome to Roost Vans. We're going to be going over two seat swivel options, one from Sportscraft and one from Luftkraft Fabrication called the Alpine Swivel. This is in a 2017 Sprinter, and you can see that the Alpine Swivel is installed on the driver's side. It comes with a bracket that lowers and changes the angle of the emergency brake. Makes it much easier than a couple other options to install and route the cabling properly underneath. And also doesn't require a clutch style emergency brake as some other products may require, so that you can have the emergency brake activated while you're swiveling the seat. In this case, with the Alpine Swivel, it changes the angle so the emergency brake can be released and also in position, and with the required trimming of the shrouding of the seat, then you can still activate the swivel with the emergency brake engaged. That is not the case on several seat swivels that we've used, so be aware of that before you order yours. Price point on the Alpines, around the $500 price point. Price point on the Sportscrafts, closer to the $300 price point. Check your local dealer for exact pricing on that. So Alpine's definitely much more a premium product, but it shows with the hardware, installation, and etc. Also, Alpine comes with some details figured out a little bit more thoroughly, such as rounded corners, which are much less ankle biter than the sharp, very sharp corners on Sportscraft. I'll go over the operation of the seat swivels now. It's much easier to activate either seat swivel if you at least open the door slightly. Not entirely necessary, but you'll have to be jockeying the seat back and forth quite a bit if you don't open the side door. With the Alpine, there's a simple lock on the back side that you rotate so that it lifts the plunger, and now you have the ability to rotate. Now the Alpine is much harder to rotate. It's a firmer seat and therefore doesn't begin to rock and move. So I'll take that over having a firmer rotation, a little bit more difficult rotation, rather than having the seat be a little jinkety as time goes on. So you get a good grip on it, pull it around as needed, rotate the seat, and slide it forward and back. Here I have to clear the steering wheel and then give it a good pull and then slide it back into position. You can also telescope your steering wheel back out of the way as much as possible. And there you have it. Now with the Sportscraft on the passenger side here, then there is a lock in the front that I'll show you in just a second. It's a little clunky. You can see, however, it rotates much easier. And you have to keep that lever pulled up and disengaged. Now that can be problematic if the seat is fully slid forward, and then that lever can't lift and fully disengage sometimes. So be aware of that. If you're having a problem swiveling this seat so you bound up on something, it should swivel pretty easily, and if it's not swiveling, it's because it's bound up on something. So check your clearance with your door, check that that's not binding on the seat. Slide that back into position so you have much more clearance. Something that I'm less fond of with this seat swivel is whenever you rotate it, hear that? Then that pin that engages the lock is colliding on the seat base. So whenever you're rotating that around, just keep that pulled up. And most importantly, watch out for your shins. That's a really sharp point that they didn't grind down at the factory. And one last thing that I forgot to mention is height build. So the Sportscraft swivel raises the seat 1.5 inches, which is quite a bit. The Alpine swivel only raises the seat 3/4 of an inch. And you wouldn't think the difference of 3/4 is a lot. It is. I'm 6 foot, and I much prefer the less height rise in the Alpine swivel. And that's it. Thanks for coming and checking it out. It's a review of the Sportscraft swivel and the Luftkraft Alpine swivel.